Hey church family, it's good to be here and I hope that you're doing well. When this pandemic started, my email inbox just blew up. I mean, I was getting updates from Sheets telling me their response to COVID-19, Perkins Family Restaurant, basically any place I had a loyalty program wanted me to know all of the precautions they were taking, and I'm guessing you experienced the same thing. And so that's one of the reasons why we have been we've been careful to not inundate you with updates from the church during this time. And the other side of that is simply we don't have any new information to share. Just like you, we're figuring this out one day at a time. But I want you to know that we are still thinking about the future of the church. And we're not just waiting. We are trying to be strategic about our future. We had a board meeting by Zoom on Monday evening, and one of the largest items on the agenda was simply thinking creatively about what church can look like in the future as we move into new phases. And so while at this point, just like in the past, we are meeting online indefinitely until any kind of change is safe and appropriate, I just wanted you to be encouraged to know that there was really good conversation about creative ways that we can, as a church, think about our future and possible ways that we can meet that would still be safe. And so be encouraged by that. I have some sad news today. Many of you know that Joe and Holly Harkle Road were scheduled to come start their ministry here at the Commonplace with our college students this summer. But because of some economic difficulties related to the pandemic, they had to make the difficult decision to not make the move here. And so while we are deeply sad, we also understand the gravity of the situation for them, and we respect their choice. I want you to still be encouraged to know that we are working hard to discern and to find a replacement in that ministry. We don't want there to be a gap. It is still my hope, and I am pretty confident that by the time fall rolls around, we will be well positioned to minister to our college students. But it will not be Joe and Holly, and I needed to make you aware of that. If you think of them, pray for them, as they themselves are pretty sad at this turn of events. Finally, I wanted to let you know that our strategic planning team that began its work a while ago has continued to think about the future of the church in a big picture kind of a way, 3 to 5 years from now. I think it's interesting that God put us on this trajectory of kind of thinking about our future before the pandemic hit. And now that we're in this place, we're really well positioned to reset, to relaunch whenever that becomes available. And so there is a timeliness to this moment that I think is important and that can really help the Commonplace flourish and be well positioned for the future if we listen to God's voice now. So be encouraged. While it's still business as usual, we are thinking about new ways to do ministry, not just short term, but into our future as well. And now, here's a thought from Jeremy Pearson.
Well, here we are toward the end of April. COVID-19 has not gone anywhere and the crisis resumes. This has been going on since St. Patrick's Day. It's amazing how quickly time flies when society comes to a screeching halt. Everybody's just at home posting pictures of their baking projects or talking about how they schedule their days so they don't become lazy, and they're talking about home work-life balance when it's all mixed together. And if you're anything like me, you're getting quite tired of hearing about that. Tired of hearing about Zoom and how people are just stuck inside because you're branded an essential worker. You have to get up every day, go into work as if nothing's going on. What used to be mundane is a little dangerous at times. Fighting an invisible enemy, and it kind of leaves you a little paranoid. You're at work, somebody coughs around you. You just don't know. That could be it. And every day, you just have to trudge through the mud just like you always have. It gets a little chaotic and a little unnerving. You look at people who are able to be at home and safe. You're a little jealous, but I mean, you need your job, so you keep going. But I just want to remind you about Jesus calming the storm. One day, Jesus and the disciples had to cross the lake. They hopped on a boat. A surprise storm hit. They didn't know the storm was coming. They had no way of anticipating it. They just got on the boat. There was a storm. They were in the middle of it, and there was nothing they could do. They were all scared. They were probably jealous of people on dry land, just safe in their little homes, waiting for this storm to pass. But the disciples were on a boat being tossed about. All they could do was just whatever little boat things you can do to get by. And you just hope for the best and hope you're not capsized by a giant wave. But then they decide, oh, let's go wake up Jesus. He's just below. So what do? They wake Jesus up. He comes out. He rebukes the storm, calms it right down. He reclaims total control of the situation. And he asks the disciples, where's your faith? Now, this isn't too different. We are thrusted into a storm. Nobody saw this coming. And you're just, quite frankly, doing your best. You have to get through every day with what little resources you have while society's just going on around you. But just like back then, Jesus is in this storm too. He's a living God, and he's with all of us. And he's there for us to turn to. So do not forget, Jesus is with us, and he's more than willing to help.